let's talk about what's going on today. This massive bull signal that just flashed for Bitcoin. Why do I say Bitcoin is itching to move higher, and why is this next leg coming up? Well, there's just a lot of accumulation, a lot of buying right now. Institutional investors are stocking up. Okay, no surprise. Look at that jump. Look at that jump. This is from Crypto Quant, institutional fund accumulation trends. Well, that looks like we definitely broke out of this downtrend of institutions coming into this space. Okay, that's a massive reversal right there. And why? Because of all the ETF filings, right? We have so many that's pending, and there are so many that believe that this time around, there's a really, really, really good chance, okay? Because we have futures-based ETF, we have futures leveraged ETF. There's no good reason why we shouldn't have a spot Bitcoin ETF, okay? And here's the thing. Grayscale is also in a lawsuit with SEC over this. So SEC is already facing pressure on this. And really, Gary, can you really, I don't know, can he really deny this any further? It's kind of ridiculous at this point, okay? Everyone is looking at the SEC finally caving in, and that's when you have Fidelity and BlackRock and Van Eyck and ARK and who else? Wisdom Tree, and there's someone big that I'm forgetting. That's all going to be jumping in. Speaking of Gary Gensler, there were rumors this weekend, and I knew it was kind of fake, but I don't know. People wanted to believe it. And maybe it's still true, but not right now. There were people on Twitter spreading rumors that Gary Gensler is leaving. Somehow he was caught doing something and he's going to resign. Okay? And since then, SEC have responded to email requests on whether or not this is true, and they answer nope. That's all they did. So, I don't know. I don't think that he is resigning. Not right now, maybe later, unless there is really some damning news that comes out, some investigation that comes out or something. But right now, he still has his job. But regardless, you know, spot Bitcoin ETF is coming. You can only deny this for so long before you just have to relent. And I believe that is coming. By the end of this year, we will have a few Bitcoin ETFs out there. And why Bitcoin ETFs or spot ETFs are important? Well, it's another avenue, another way for big whales and institutions to get in easily, okay, without holding any Bitcoin. And yet those fund companies have to buy and hold Bitcoin. And speaking of supply, 79% of Bitcoin supply is in profit. So those of you guys that's been DCAing, there's really little to be complaining about. Even if you bought your very first SAT or Bitcoin at $69,000, had you been following a pretty set schedule for DCA, you would be in the green already, okay? And there are a lot of calculators you could use to figure that out, but almost 80% of the supply is in profit. So people that are just purely holding Bitcoin, looking good. I know alts are not there yet. A lot of alts are still down, right? But it's just a matter of time. That's why I do the DCA portfolio with you guys every Wednesday night. But it just shows you the Bitcoiners, this is the reason why Bitcoiners are not afraid of volatility, because most of them are in profit. And plus they know Bitcoin just continues to trend higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And you know, we just go through these 4-year cycles. Yes, you have a pretty bad year, and then you have recovery year, and then you have pretty good years after that. And because of the institutions and because of new players coming in, right, what does that mean? Well, that means supply diminishes. So the inflow to the exchanges right now, Bitcoin inflow into exchanges, it is basically at a historic low, right? Supply is plummeting right now, and that's mostly because people are just taking Bitcoin out of the exchanges. Also, shrimp net positions all-time high, 1.33 million shrimps. That just shows, retail investors, right? Retail investors accumulating, DCAing, fantastic. We don't want to let the whales to accumulate everything. You want the small guys to be able to join in on the party too, right? And that's why I argued this before, that there's more. I mean, this is probably the only investment asset where retail was right first, then the institutions followed. Normally speaking, I would say every other asset out there, the institutions start, then retail FOMO's in. But this is the one asset, because it was created by people for the people, where retail is actually ahead of the game, right? But these big institutions, they're coming in. They're not dummies, okay? They may be causing manipulation. They may be causing FUD. They may be pulling the strings, like with Gary Gensler, but still, what they're doing is trying to play catch up. They're trying to accumulate as much as they can. So you don't want to let that happen, or at least not be faked out by it, okay? Okay, now moving on to signals. There seems to be like endless signals that people find, and they're all super, super bullish. Here's one, okay? If you look at, this is a historical one where you have this 2-week trend line, okay, or this level, and then you usually break above, and then we retest it, and then afterwards, boom, right? The only exception is 2020, because 2019 to 2020, because we had that COVID crash, but nevertheless, same kind of event. When you have a bottom event, when you have a capitulation event, you break through, usually you retest it a little bit, and then boom, you go higher, right? Happened in 2020, happened in 2015, it happened in 2019, and again, that was an asterisk because of the COVID pandemic crash. And then look at right now, right? Again, we broke through that line, we retested it, and now look at that big green candlestick. Historic bull signal just flashed. And it's not the only one. There seems to be so many of these. Here's another one, okay? Some kind of moving average on a monthly scale. And you can see the buy signal just flashed buy right there. It's clear as day. We broke through whatever that moving average is. And again, if you look at history, anytime Bitcoin breaks through, it's very, very bullish. So we got a lot of historical bull signals being flashed right now. You know what? I was actually fooling. I was trying to play with Google's Bard, their AI system, and I kept asking questions about how high Bitcoin is going to be by the end of the year, right? And didn't want to answer, but I kept forcing it to come up with an answer. And it answered Bitcoin was going to be at 40,000 by the end of the year. And I asked how high Ethereum was going to be, and it said 3,500. Pretty good estimations. Anyways, so yeah, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else is going to be much higher by the end of the year. But what's really exciting is coming in 2024.